The room is bathed in the soft golden light of early morning. The air is still and quiet, filled with a sense of profound peace. Ilara, radiant but exhausted, lies in a bed of soft linens, cradling her newborn son, Rio. The baby's tiny form is a miracle of stillness. His umbilical cord, a pearlescent spiral, is still attached, connecting him to the placenta which rests beside them, wrapped gently in a woven basket filled with fragrant herbs. The scene is one of slow breathing, a deliberate act of patience and reverence. Sage, a woman with deep-set, knowing eyes, moves with a quiet grace. She dips a cloth into a bowl of warm water, her movements slow and intentional. She doesn't speak, but her presence is a calming anchor in the room. She offers the cloth to Ilara.
He's so calm. It's like he knows he's still connected.
He knows he is held. Life continues its song, Ilara, the same rhythm that began in the womb.
Ilara gently dabs Rio's brow with the warm cloth. Her gaze drifts from her son's face to the pulsing cord resting on the pillow between them, a living emblem of their bond. The world outside, with its haste and rules, feels a million miles away. This room is a sanctuary, a moment suspended in time. Next, on Lotus birth, the first breath. The first moments of motherhood are a sacred, quiet space. Ilara holds her son, feeling the weight of her decision to honor this ancient practice. What does her heart guide her to do right now? Ilara's fingers trace the warm, pulsing spiral of the umbilical cord. A wave of awe washes over her.
I promise. I will trust this. I will trust you.
Sage smiles, a soft understanding in her eyes. She offers Ilara a spoonful of nourishing broth.
That is the only promise that matters. Your body knows the way. His body knows the way.
Ilara sips the broth, the warmth spreading through her. Just then, the door creaks open. Kai, 30 seconds, Ilara's partner, enters quietly, his face a mixture of wonder and worry. He carries a small, neatly folded stack of white cloths.
He looks perfect. You both do. How are you feeling?
Like we're floating. Like we're exactly where we need to be.
Kai's gaze falls to the woven basket beside the bed, where the placenta rests among the herbs. He can't quite hide the flicker of unease in his eyes.
Sage, is everything all right? It just seems so exposed.
It is not exposed, Kai. It is honored. It is the baby's first earth, the silent guardian that nourished him.
I know, I read that pamphlet again, the one from the community health center. They talked about risks. I want to trust this, Ilara, I really do, but my job is to worry.
Kai's voice is gentle, his concern born of deep love, not judgment. He places the clean cloths on the nightstand, a practical offering in a room defined by spiritual trust.
The only risk is forgetting to listen to him.
She nods toward Rio, sleeping peacefully. The tension in the room is soft, a quiet hum beneath the surface of their love for each other and for their son. Kai's loving concern hangs in the air, a gentle challenge to the sanctuary Ilara has created. She must now navigate the space between her deep intuitive trust and her partner's practical fear. How does she reassure him without compromising her own conviction? Ilara takes Kai's hand, her touch soft but firm. She brings it to her chest, pressing his palm flat against her heart.
Feel that? He feels it too. We're connected. Just breathe with us.
Kai closes his eyes, his shoulders relaxing as he matches his breath to the slow, steady rhythm of her heartbeat. A long moment passes, the only sound in the room the whisper of their breathing. He opens his eyes, his gaze softer, the worry replaced by wonder.
I'm sorry. It's not that I don't trust you. It's new, and he's everything.
All things that are sacred feel new the first time. It is the mind that makes it complicated. The body already knows the truth.
Sage moves to the woven basket. With the same reverent care as before, she unwraps the placenta. She shows Kai how she is carefully patting it dry with a clean cloth and sprinkling it with a mixture of finely ground rosemary and salt.
We honor it. We keep it clean. We watch. The care we give the placenta is the same care we give the child. It is an act of attention. See how the cord is already changing? It is doing its work.
Kai leans closer, his curiosity overriding his fear. He sees the cord is beginning to look thinner, drier, less like living tissue and more like a sinewy vine.
It's not hurting him?
It's the opposite. It's letting him go on his own time, gently.
We do not cut the cord of life. We wait, and it releases when it is ready. This is patience made sacred.
Kai nods slowly, absorbing her words. He looks from the basket to Rio, sleeping peacefully, then to Alara, her expression full of love. The practical demonstration seems to have settled his deepest anxieties for now.
What about bathing him? How do we do that?
Kai's practical question is a sign of his attempt to understand, to bridge his world of concrete actions with Alara's world of spiritual trust. Alara must now guide him, explaining how this sacred process integrates into the daily rhythms of care.
We'll give him gentle sponge baths for now, right where he is. We just have to make sure we keep the cord and the herbs around it dry. It's about warmth and closeness, not scrubbing him clean.
Sage nods, her hands still. She allows Alara to lead the explanation, to step fully into her maternal knowing.
The rest is just custom.
Alara dips a soft, clean cloth into the bowl of warm water, wringing it out until it is just damp. She unfolds a corner of Rio's swaddle, gently wiping his neck and tiny, curled fists. Her movements are slow, confident, a tender dance of care.
So, no big bath? No tub?
Not yet. His world is right here, small and warm. It's all he needs.
Kai watches, his previous anxiety melting into a quiet fascination. He sees not a fragile, risky procedure, but an act of profound love and attention. He reaches out, and Alara passes him a dry cloth. He carefully dries the spot she has just washed. They work together in a silent, shared rhythm.
You see, Kai? Your hands know what to do. Your heart knows the way. It is a family circle. Each person has their part.
For a moment, the world outside vanishes completely. There are no pamphlets, no worries, only the three of them, and the peacefully sleeping baby, all connected in this small, sacred space. Kai finally looks fully at peace, a partner in this gentle ritual, not just a worried bystander.
It's like a meditation.
It is. It's our first promise to him, that we will be patient, that we will listen.
Kai places his hand over Alara's, the damp cloth resting between them. The morning light spills across the room, illuminating the quiet harmony they have found together. The immediate, practical concern has been addressed, and a sense of harmony settles over the room. Alara feels the strength of her conviction, reinforced by Kai's new understanding. The path forward feels clear, at least for this moment. What does she choose to focus on now, in this pocket of peace?
Sage, would you share a story with us about the old ways, about this tradition?
A tranquil quiet settles over the room, filled with the warmth of shared purpose. Kai's hand still rests on Alara's. Sage smiles, her eyes crinkling at the corners as if accessing a long-held memory.
There is a story from the mountain peoples. They say every child is born with two spirits in the womb, the one that will breathe the air and the one that will return to the earth.
She gestures to the sleeping Rio, then to the woven basket.
The placenta is the keeper of the child's earth memory. It holds the story of the water, the darkness, the first heartbeat. To cut the cord is to tell the child they are alone. To wait is to tell them, your guardian is still with you.
Kai and Alara listen, captivated. The story transforms the physical object in the basket into something mythical, something deeply sacred.
In those traditions, the family would watch the cord. They would say it was the map of the child's first days in the world. As it dried, it taught them about letting go. The spirit of the child doesn't need to be torn from its twin. It knows when to walk on its own.
Next, on Lotus birth, the twin spirit.
We honor the timing of life. Connection holds its own wisdom.
Her words hang in the air, a perfect encapsulation of their entire purpose. As she finishes, Kai's gaze drifts to the stack of neatly folded cloths he brought in earlier. Tucked beneath them is a folded piece of paper he must have carried in with the linens. A pamphlet. He picks it up, his earlier calm disturbed by the official-looking print.
I found this tucked in our mailbox. I didn't want to bring it up before.
He unfolds it. It's a public health notice from a regional authority. His eyes scan the text, his brow furrowing with renewed concern.
What is it?
It's just general information. But there's a section here on unconventional birthing practices.
He swallows, the fear returning to his voice.
It says, delayed cord clamping is standard, but failure to sever the umbilical cord within 24 hours can pose a significant risk of infection as the tissue begins to decay.
The clinical, impersonal words slice through the sacred atmosphere of the room. The official warning on the pamphlet crashes into the room's gentle harmony, placing Alara's intuitive trust in direct conflict with a voice of clinical authority. This is the first true test of her resolve.
That is their story. This is ours. We are looking for signs of life, not decay.
The words land with a quiet finality, a shield against the sterile language of the pamphlet. Alara's gaze is unwavering, fixed on Kai. Sage remains perfectly still, a silent, supportive presence. The tension from the printed words remains, an unwelcome guest in the tranquil room. Kai folds the paper slowly, his knuckles white.
I know. I believe in this, in you. But hearing it laid out like that, in black and white, it makes the what-ifs feel so much bigger.
It's their job to see the world in terms of risk. It's our job to see our son. Look at him, Kai. He is peaceful. He is thriving.
She gestures to Rio, who stirs slightly in his sleep, his little mouth making soft sucking motions. The picture of health.
Fear is a story told about a future that has not happened. Decay is the end of a cycle, but this is the beginning. The cord is not dead tissue. It is a bridge, and it is still carrying nourishment to him. Not food, but life force. We tend to it with herbs that preserve, not because we fear decay, but because we honor the transition.
Kai looks from the pamphlet in his hand to Sage's calm, certain face, then to Alara's resolute expression. He is caught between two languages, two truths.
I don't want to be the voice of fear in this room. I just want to protect you. All of you.
You are, by being here, by breathing with us, by trusting that what we're doing is an act of love, not negligence.
Kai nods, though the conflict is still visible in his eyes. He carefully places the folded pamphlet on a dresser across the room, as if physically distancing himself from its message. But its presence lingers. The clinical warning has planted a seed of doubt, despite Alara's firm response. Now, in the quiet that follows, she must choose how to anchor herself and her family against this new anxiety. What is her next move?
We'll write it down, our own document. We can make a record of how he's thriving.
Sage gives a slow, appreciative nod. It is a wise move, turning fear into focused attention.
An excellent idea, a book of life. What the eye sees, the heart knows.
Kai visibly brightens, seizing on the practical, active nature of the suggestion. It gives his worry a purpose.
Yeah? What would we write?
Everything. The color of his skin, how many times he eats, the rhythm of his breathing when he sleeps. We'll record all the signs of life, not risk. It will be our story.
Sage fetches a simple, unbound journal and a pen from her bag, placing them on the bedside table.
You begin. I will add my notes when I check on you both. This is your family's record.
Kai picks up the pen, a sense of relief washing over him as he clicks it. He has a role again, a way to protect them.
Okay. I can do this. Log the data.
It's not data, Kai. It's devotion.
Kai looks at her, understanding dawning in his eyes. He smiles sheepishly.
Right. Devotion. First entry, he looks perfect. His mother is fierce, and his dad is learning to breathe.
Alara laughs softly, the sound washing away the last of the tension from the room. They have found their way back to a shared purpose. The house is still. Sage has retired to the guest room, and Kai is asleep in a chair beside the bed, the open journal resting on his chest. The only light comes from a small salt lamp, casting a warm pink glow. Alara is awake, watching Rio sleep beside her. The pulsing cord on the pillow is a constant, living reminder of her decision. The words from the pamphlet echo in the quiet of her mind. Significant risk of infection, as the tissue begins to decay. She gently places her hand on Rio's small back, feeling its steady rise and fall. He is so small, so perfect. A flicker of fear, cold and sharp, pierces through her conviction. Is she being brave, or is she being foolish? The weight of his absolute trust in her feels immense, almost crushing in the silent darkness. The house is quiet, and Alara is alone with her sleeping son and the weight of her decision. The pamphlet's clinical warnings are a stark contrast to the sacred peace she has cultivated. She is torn between her deep spiritual trust and the creeping fear for her baby's well-being. Alara reaches for the journal, her fingers tracing the simple, hopeful words Kai wrote just hours before. She rereads his entry, letting the love behind it push back against the cold fear. First entry, he looks perfect. His mother is fierce, and his dad is learning to breathe. The words are a balm, a reminder of the shared purpose that had filled the room with such light. She turns the page and picks up the pen, her own devotion seeking a voice. She doesn't write about his feeding schedule or the color of his skin. She writes a letter to the fear itself. He is not a risk. He is a soul. His rhythm is the only clock we need to watch. His breath is the only authority we need to consult. We will not let the story of decay be louder than the song of his life. Putting the pen down, she feels a calm settle over her, a quiet strength returning to her core. The pamphlet's warning is just noise from a world far away. This room, this moment, is the only thing that is real. She lies back, her hand resting protectively on Rio's back. She closes her eyes, not to sleep, but to listen. To the soft rhythm of his breathing, to the steady beat of her own heart. She stays this way for hours, a silent guardian in the dim light. Dawn breaks, casting a single golden shaft of light across the room. It illuminates the basket, the sleeping baby, and the now dry, wiry cord connecting them. Alara opens her eyes. The fear is gone, burned away by the patient light of morning and a long night of quiet devotion. She knows what she has to do. She has made her choice, not just once, but again, and with more certainty than ever before.
The night was long.
Sage stands in the doorway, holding 2 cups of steaming tea. She doesn't ask if Alara slept. She can see the answer in her clear, steady eyes.
It was, but it was necessary. It was, but it was necessary.
Sage nods, walking in and handing a cup to Alara.
And what did it teach you?
That fear speaks loudest when you're alone in the dark, but it doesn't have to have the last word.
Alara looks at Rio, then at the basket, a deep resolve settling in her heart. She has weathered the storm of doubt. Now feels like the true beginning. The dawn has brought clarity. Alara has faced her fear and reaffirmed her commitment, moving past the debate and into a new stage of her journey. How does she want to consecrate this decision and begin the day?
It's time. Let's perform the morning ritual for the placenta.
The morning light is soft and clear. Sage nods, her expression acknowledging the journey Alara took during the night. Kai, awake now, watches them, his earlier anxiety replaced by a quiet willingness to learn.
Then let us begin.
Sage brings the woven basket to the center of the bed. She unwraps the placenta with deliberate, gentle hands. The cord is noticeably thinner and darker now, like a drying vine.
Each day, it gives a little more of itself back to the earth. We are simply here to witness. Today, we add salt and lavender. The salt to cleanse and preserve, the lavender to bring peace.
She offers a small clay bowl of coarse salt to Alara, and another filled with dried lavender buds to Kai.
This is a task for both of you. You are his guardians.
Alara takes a pinch of salt, her touch reverent. She sprinkles it over the placenta, her fear from the night transformed into focused care.
For cleansing, for clarity.
Kai hesitates for a second, then follows her lead, covering the other side with fragrant lavender.
For peace, and for courage, for all of us.
Sage smiles, a deep, approving warmth in her eyes. The ritual is no longer just Sage's instruction. It is a shared act of family devotion. They work together, a silent, rhythmic team wrapping the newly treated placenta in fresh, clean linen. Next, on Lotus birth, the salt and the lavender.
The stories say that as the cord dries, the child's spirit settles more deeply into the world. It is a time of slow grounding.
When they are finished, Sage places the basket near the window, where the morning sun can warm it.
It looks safe, cared for.
It is. We are caring for it.
The simple act has solidified their bond, creating a tangible counter-narrative to the sterile warnings of the pamphlet. They are no longer just following a tradition, they are creating their own. The morning ritual is complete, and a new sense of calm and shared purpose fills the room. Alara, Kai, and Sage have become a unit, bound by this quiet act of devotion. Alara feels the strength of her choice, now reinforced by her family. As the day unfolds, what aspect of this new journey does she want to focus on? The quiet of the birthing room is shattered by a sharp, insistent knocking at the front door. Kai goes to answer it. A moment later, he returns, his face pale. He's followed by Dr. Mark Jennings, a man in his late 40s wearing scrubs, his expression a mask of grim urgency. He radiates an aura of clinical authority that feels like a violation in the sacred space.
I'm Dr. Jennings from the Public Health Office. We received an anonymous tip regarding an unassisted birth and a failure to provide standard medical care.
His eyes immediately fix on the woven basket by the window, his lips tightening in disapproval. Sage steps forward, her calm a stark contrast to his intensity.
The baby is receiving constant, careful attention. There is no failure of care here.
Ma'am, leaving a newborn attached to necrotic tissue is not care, it's a textbook risk for sepsis. I need to examine the child, now.
He gestures towards Rio, who is sleeping peacefully in Alara's arms. The gesture is not a request, it's a command.
He is perfectly healthy. We are monitoring him.
Monitoring is not a medical protocol. Does the baby have a fever? Is he lethargic? Have you logged his every feed and output? You are not in a position to assess risk. I am.
The clinical, accusatory tone is a physical force in the room, stripping away the morning's peace. Kai looks between Alara and the doctor, his own fear reigniting.
A tip? Who would...
It's confidential. My only concern is the welfare of this child. If you refuse a wellness check, I am obligated to report it as a potential endangerment case.
His words hang in the air, a clear and immediate threat. The story is no longer about tradition, it's about custody. Alara's choice is no longer about spiritual conviction, it's about keeping her son. Alara gives Sage a desperate, pleading look, a silent request for her to intervene. Sage meets Alara's gaze with a calm, reassuring nod. She takes a slow, deliberate breath and turns to face the doctor, positioning herself as a gentle barrier.
Doctor, we honor your concern for the child's welfare. That is a duty we all share. Perhaps we can share our observations with you. We have been keeping a written record.
She gestures toward the journal, their book of life.
I'm not interested in a diary. I'm a doctor. I deal in data, vitals, and evidence-based practice, not anecdotes.
What greater data is there than a mother's constant presence? Or the color of his skin, the rhythm of his breath, the strength of his cry? These are the signs of life we are taught to read.
Those are subjective observations. I need objective measurements. Temperature, heart rate, oxygen saturation.
His gaze is cold, dismissive. He pulls a sterile-wrapped stethoscope from his bag.
This is not a negotiation. Allow me to examine the boy, or I will call the authorities and have them compel you. It's your choice.
Maybe we should just let him look, just to be safe, to show we have nothing to hide.
The words are a betrayal to Alara, born of Kai's fear. Next, on Lotus' birth. The unwanted guest.
This isn't about safety, Kai. This is about authority.
Alara's voice is shaking, but determined. She looks directly at Dr. Jennings, her baby held tight against her chest.
You will not treat my son like a specimen. You will not treat our home like a crime scene.
Then you are obstructing a public health officer. I'll make the call.
Dr. Jennings is about to make the call that could tear Alara's family apart. Sage's wisdom has failed to penetrate his wall of clinical protocol, and Kai is wavering under the pressure. Alara knows she must act now.
Wait. If you need data, we can provide it. We have a thermometer.
Alara's voice cuts through the tension. It's a calculated offer, an attempt to speak the doctor's language without surrendering her ground. Dr. Jennings pauses, his hand hovering over his phone. He raises a skeptical eyebrow.
Fine. Let's see your data. But if that reading is even a tenth of a degree above normal, this discussion is over.
Kai quickly fetches a digital thermometer from a drawer, his hands trembling slightly as he hands it to Alara. The simple plastic device feels like a weapon. Sage watches with a heavy heart, recognizing the concession for what it is, a small piece of their sacred world being sacrificed to the god of protocol. Alara gently slips the thermometer under Rio's arm. The room falls silent. The only sound is the soft whirring of the device, a clinical intrusion in the otherwise peaceful space. Everyone's eyes are fixed on the small digital screen. The thermometer beeps. Alara pulls it out, her own breath catching in her throat as she reads the number. A slight, but definite, fever. 99.8 degrees Fahrenheit. She looks up, her face draining of color. Kai sees her expression, and his own hope evaporates, replaced by raw fear.
Let me see it.
He plucks the thermometer from her fingers. His eyes scan the result, and a grim, vindicated look settles on his face.
Just as I suspected, the baby is febrile. This is a classic sign of infection. My assessment stands. The child is at risk.
It's a slight warmth. It could be anything. He's bundled.
It's a symptom, and with decaying tissue still attached to his body, sepsis is the most likely cause. Now, are you going to let me do my job, or do I make the call?
He isn't asking anymore. He is telling her. The data she offered as a bridge has become his battering ram. The compromise has failed, and in doing so, it has proven his point in his own clinical language. The data Alara offered to de-escalate the situation has backfired spectacularly, giving Dr. Jennings the clinical justification he needed. He is moving to examine Rio, his authority now backed by what he considers evidence.
Then, before you touch him, I'm calling my family doctor for a second opinion.
Her voice is resolute, a final shield against the encroaching panic. Dr. Jennings scoffs, an incredulous, harsh sound in the quiet room.
You think a phone call changes the facts? A fever is a fever. I'm here in person.
And I am his mother. I have that right.
Sage places a steadying hand on Alara's shoulder. Kai, seeing a sliver of a lifeline, scrambles to find her phone.
Yes, Dr. Evans. She's known you since you were a kid, Alara. She'll understand.
He hands Alara the phone. She quickly dials, her heart hammering against her ribs. The call goes to speakerphone, filling the room with the tinny sound of ringing.
This is a waste of precious time.
The ringing stops. A warm, familiar voice answers.
Dr. Evans speaking.
Dr. Evans, it's Alara. I've had my baby, a boy. But there's a public health doctor here. He's threatening to call social services.
Dr. Jennings leans in, his presence domineering.
Tell her about the fever, Alara. Tell her you've left the infant attached to the placenta for 3 days.
Ilara's voice trembles as she explains the situation. The Lotus birth, the slight temperature, the doctor's accusations. There is a long, agonizing pause on the other end of the line.
Alara, a fever in a newborn is not something we can ignore.
Ilara's voice trembles as she explains the situation. The Lotus birth, the slight temperature, the doctor's accusations. There is a long, agonizing pause on the other end of the line.
Alara, a fever in a newborn is not something we can ignore, even a slight one. Medically speaking, the umbilical cord stump is a potential entry point for bacteria once blood flow ceases.
The words are gentle, but they are a clear echo of Dr. Jennings' own warning. Alara's last hope begins to crumble. Next, on Lotus birth. A bridge of words.
Doctor, what should we do?
I can't make a diagnosis over the phone, but if there is any question of infection, the standard of care is clear. The child needs to be observed in a clinical setting. He should be brought to the hospital.
Dr. Jennings crosses his arms, a smirk of triumph on his face. He has won. The second opinion, her own trusted doctor, has validated his authority.
My car is right outside. I can escort you to the ER myself. It's time to put an end to this.
Alara turns her eyes from the triumphant doctor to the calm center of the room. She looks directly at Sage, her voice low but clear, a plea and a challenge all at once.
What do the old ways say about a challenge like this?
The question hangs in the air, shifting the room's entire axis of power. It is an explicit rejection of Dr. Jennings and Dr. Evans, a turn towards a different kind of authority. Dr. Jennings lets out a short, incredulous laugh.
Oh, for God's sake. We are past an academic discussion of folklore. We are in a medical emergency.
Sage does not react to his outburst. Her focus is entirely on Alara. She takes a moment, her silence a stark contrast to the doctor's frantic energy, before she speaks.
The old ways say that a challenge is a visitor. It comes to the door for a reason. You do not have to let it in, but you must ask why it has come.
She glances at Dr. Jennings, not with hostility, but with calm observation.
This visitor, this fear, did not arrive with the doctor, Alara. It arrived with the fever. The fever is the messenger. It is not the affliction.
This is absurd. The fever is a symptom of infection.
It is a symptom of work. The body is working. The child is working to ground himself in this world. Sometimes that work creates heat.
She moves slowly towards the basket where the placenta rests.
The old stories teach us to look for the other signs. Is the baby's spirit bright? Does he feed? Does his body release what it no longer needs?
He is strong. He feeds well.
Then we listen to the fever. We do not try to silence it. We support the body's work. We offer cooling herbs, more fluids, skin-to-skin contact. We watch. The old way is the way of patience.
Dr. Jennings shakes his head, utterly defeated by a logic he cannot compute or intimidate.
This is medically irresponsible. You are gambling with his life based on stories.
And you are gambling with his spirit based on statistics. Every path has a risk. The question is which risk you are willing to take. The risk of...
Ilara turns her eyes from the triumphant doctor to the calm center of the room. She looks directly at Sage, her voice low but clear, a plea and a challenge all at once.
What do the old ways say about a challenge like this?
The question hangs in the air, shifting the room's entire axis of power. It is an explicit rejection of Dr. Jennings and Dr. Evans, a turn towards a different kind of authority. Dr. Jennings lets out a short, incredulous laugh.
Oh, for God's sake. We are past an academic discussion of folklore. We are in a medical emergency.
Sage does not react to his outburst. Her focus is entirely on Ilara. She takes a moment, her silence a stark contrast to the doctor's frantic energy, before she speaks.
The old ways say that a challenge is a visitor. It comes to the door for a reason. You do not have to let it in, but you must ask why it has come.
She glances at Dr. Jennings, not with hostility, but with calm observation.
This visitor, this fear, did not arrive with the doctor, Ilara. It arrived with the fever. The fever is the messenger. It is not the affliction.
This is absurd. The fever is a symptom of infection.
It is a symptom of work. The body is working. The child is working to ground himself in this world. Sometimes that work creates heat.
She moves slowly towards the basket where the placenta rests.
The old stories teach us to look for the other signs. Is the baby's spirit bright? Does he feed? Does his body release what it no longer needs?
He is strong. He feeds well.
Then we listen to the fever. We do not try to silence it. We support the body's work. We offer cooling herbs, more fluids, skin-to-skin contact. We watch. The old way is the way of patience.
Dr. Jennings shakes his head, utterly defeated by a logic he cannot compute or intimidate.
This is medically irresponsible. You are gambling with his life based on stories.
And you are gambling with his spirit based on statistics. Every path has a risk. The question is which risk you are willing to take. The risk of interrupting a natural process, or the risk of trusting it. That is Ilara's choice, not yours.
Sage's words land with the force of a verdict. She has not confronted the doctor, but simply offered Ilara a different lens, reclaiming the power of choice and framing it not as compliance versus defiance, but as two different paths of trust. Sage has reframed the entire conflict. The choice is no longer about obeying a doctor, it's about which path of care Ilara will trust. Dr. Jennings stands by the door, momentarily stunned into silence by a wisdom he cannot bully. Kai looks at Ilara, his face a canvas of confusion and hope. The power to decide has been returned to her. Ilara holds Sage's gaze for a long moment, drawing strength from the deep well of calm she sees there. The frantic energy of the doctors, both on the phone and in the room, fades into a distant buzz. There is only the quiet truth in front of her. She makes her choice. She turns to Dr. Jennings, her voice soft but unbreakable.
Thank you for sharing your concerns, doctor. We will not be going to the hospital. We will support the body's work.
Dr. Jennings stares, his face a mask of disbelief and fury. Kai sucks in a sharp breath, his eyes wide with terror, but he doesn't speak. He looks from his son to Ilara, and a flicker of trust, however fragile, holds him in place.
You are making a catastrophic mistake.
Without another glance at him, Ilara turns to Sage.
What do we do first?
We listen. We offer comfort.
Sage dips a clean, soft cloth into a bowl of cool water infused with chamomile. She wrings it out and hands it to Ilara.
Place this on his forehead. And then we bring him to your skin. The mother's body is the oldest regulator there is.
Dr. Jennings watches, aghast, as Ilara gently lays the cool cloth on Rio's brow. He lets out a small, contented sigh in his sleep.
This is unconscionable. You've been warned by 2 physicians. This conversation is over.
He turns on his heel and strides toward the door, his movements stiff with controlled rage.
Doctor, wait. What are you going to do?
Dr. Jennings pauses at the door, his hand on the knob. He doesn't turn around.
I'm going to do my job. I'm filing a report of medical neglect and child endangerment. You can expect a visit from Child Protective Services.
The door clicks shut, leaving a profound and terrifying silence in its wake. The threat is no longer in the room, but it hangs over them, more potent than ever. Ilara looks down at Rio, her hands trembling as she unbuttons her shirt to lay him against her skin. Has won the battle, but the war for her child has just begun. The door has closed, but the doctor's threat echoes in the silence. Ilara has chosen her path, but it has led her family directly into the path of the state. Fear, cold and sharp, threatens to undo her newfound resolve. The choice now is not about belief, but about survival. 2 days pass in a blur of quiet, focused care. The knock at the door never comes. The fever, as Sage predicted, breaks on its own. A passing warmth that gives way to radiant health. Ilara and Kai work as a seamless team, their shared ritual a constant prayer against the ghost of the doctor's threat. They document every sign of Rio's vitality, their book of life now filled with loving, detailed proof of their son's well-being. On the 5th morning, golden light spills across the room. The air is cool and smells of damp earth. Ilara, Kai, and Sage stand together beside a newly planted sapling. Ilara cradles a thriving, bright-eyed Rio in her arms. In her other hand, she holds the small, dry umbilical cord, which separated naturally an hour ago. Kai carefully places the placenta, wrapped in its final linen shroud, into a small hole at the base of the young tree.
From the earth and back to the earth.
He looks at Ilara, his eyes shining with a love and respect that is deeper than it was 5 days ago. His fear has been replaced by a profound trust.
I was so scared. I'm sorry I wavered.
You were trying to protect him. We both were. We just had to learn how to do it together.
Sage sprinkles a handful of dried lavender and rose petals over the buried placenta.
Life nourished life, and now it will again. This tree will grow with him. It will be his twin spirit in the earth, a reminder of his first guardian.
Ilara looks down at the tiny, delicate cord in her hand. It is no longer a symbol of conflict, but a testament to patience.
was never about being right. It was about listening to him and to myself.
She tucks the cord into a small wooden box. A keepsake. A story. As they stand together, united and changed, a sense of deep, unshakable peace settles over them. The world's noise had come to their door, but it could not enter. They had created their own sanctuary, not of walls, but of trust. The final image is not of a mother alone, but of a family, grounded and whole, their roots now as deep as the tree they have just planted. Next, on Lotus Birth, the first guardian. The story of the Lotus Birth has reached its peaceful conclusion, a testament to the family's courage and trust in their own path. Reflecting on this intense and transformative journey, Alara now considers how she will carry this newfound wisdom forward. What does this experience call her to do next? A few months later, the garden is thriving. The sapling stands strong, a quiet monument to Rio's gentle beginning. Sunlight streams into a room filled with expectant parents and doulas. Alara stands at the front, Rio sleeping peacefully in a sling against her chest. She is not the same woman who anxiously watched her son's every breath. A grounded calm radiates from her. Kai and Sage sit in the front row, watching with proud smiles.
We're taught to fear the body's wisdom, to see birth as a medical event that needs to be managed, controlled. But my son taught me that it's a ceremony. It asks for our presence, not our panic.
A young, pregnant woman raises her hand, her expression a familiar mix of hope and anxiety. But what about when things go wrong? How do you know when to trust and when to intervene?
That's the real work. It's not about choosing one way over another, it's about learning to listen deeply. We kept a journal, our own book of life, tracking every little sign. We learned to tell the difference between our fear and his reality. Trust isn't blind, it's attentive.
Kai joins her at the front, placing a supportive hand on her back.
I was the voice of fear. I wanted data, charts, the right answers. But the most important data came from holding him, from watching my partner trust her body. Our journey wasn't about rejecting science. It was about integrating it with reverence.
Sage stands, her voice filling the room with its quiet authority.
The Lotus Birth reminds us of what we've forgotten, that connection holds its own wisdom, that life knows its own timing. The greatest gift we can give our children is to honor their beginning, not as a problem to be solved, but as a story to be witnessed.
Alara looks down at Rio, then back at the community gathered before her. Her story has become a lesson, a source of strength for others. She has found her voice, not in defiance, but in sharing the quiet truth she fought so hard to live.
The sacred ending. As the final pulse of life flows through the cord, the baby rests, whole, complete, and connected. The placenta, their first home, has fulfilled its sacred purpose. With patience, the cord releases and the circle of life closes with grace. In this stillness, we are reminded that birth is not something to hurry, but something to honor. A lotus birth is more than a practice. It is a prayer in motion, a ceremony of trust between nature, mother, and child. When the placenta returns to the earth, it carries with it the memory of creation, nourishing new life once again. And in that sacred cycle, we see the truth. Life never really separates. It simply continues, beautifully, endlessly, and in its own perfect timing. Lotus birth. The bond that began before birth continues after. Trust the wisdom of life. Trust the magic of birth.